I'm going to be talking about the client who has been in the program for about a year and a half now, and she's 20 years old, and the baby is almost a year old. She has a history of intimate partner violence, and that is what brings the client up to the table today. My concern is the concern is actually around the safety of the client. Actually, she transitioned through DHS after leaving her initial foster home and running away. And then she transitioned to DHS, and they got her into this shelter because of her age and pregnancy. That's when I met her. They're actually transitioning her into a program that is going to serve for single parents, but they are helping her get there. It is how she's really valuable to them. That's what I was led to believe. The client currently, like I said, is pursuing her college education. She wants to become a counselor, which I think is really good for her. She's really motivated to do that. Works twice a week as a home health aide and goes to school full-time 3 days a week. She's very engaged in visits whereby, oh, what's going to happen next time? What do you think I should do? So our visits are very engaging. There's always so much to talk about. The family client doesn't have much family. I know that she has a mother who I once met briefly, but after developing a relationship with the client, I found out that the mother has a history of drug abuse. So father of the baby is currently her only support in terms of emotional, sometimes financial, etc. He was incarcerated and he's out of the prison right now. The reason for the father's incarceration was that they had a fight, they had an argument, and he threatened her at one point, he did hit her, and she called the cops on him, and that's when they had a falling out. But as soon as he was incarcerated, they resumed their relationship. He assists with the child care and takes baby on weekends at times without the client, so that the client can get some personal time.
It sounds to me, Famita, because you said you're afraid for her.
I'd say that I'm just afraid that this may repeat again. It's just about a matter of time whereby the client will be harmed, and this time it's not only the client, it's the baby too. It's like she cannot just pick up and run if at all she needs to, in a case where she can, because now there's the baby to think about as well.
I think that this is a really difficult situation you're in. And it sounds like, but you tell me if I'm right or wrong, that you're somewhat nervous about the situation of domestic violence.
Yeah, I guess, yes, you could say that. I guess it is nervousness. It's just that I'm afraid to find out what I'm going to find out, if there is anything to find out. It could be anything. Inside me, I'd just be like, I wish I could have been able to help her better. I could do something to keep her and her baby safe.
But you're also in a bind, it sounds like. It sounds like, I want to keep the baby safe, I want to keep her safe, but I'm scared of what I might learn. You know, it sounds like it's a really difficult situation.
It is difficult. This is a difficult case. When we discuss about these things, she kind of shuts down. for a moment, and that probably makes me feel like, okay, probably she doesn't want to discuss about it. When I approached this, that would you like to discuss about it, she's like, yeah, it's okay, but she's not as engaging then.
I'm kind of interested to know what you have in mind, what in your thought would be the ideal safety situation, or what you think, what it is you're hoping to achieve or accomplish in terms of this.
Be very plain about it. I mean, I would want her to say, I'm not going to use my father of the baby for my baby, or I am not going to talk to him, but that is what I want for her. It's not what the client wants. So I have to keep it, I hold myself back and be like, no, don't tell her that she needs to do that. But I would wish that she would say, I'm going to cut off all ties from father of the baby, because that's a way to keep herself and the baby safe, according to me. But see, that's not what's happening.
Did she sustain any injury from the fight?
Luckily, not serious ones. It's like she was just, if I remember correctly, she said she was really shaken. Because she also said that she was afraid because she was so close to her due date, and she was afraid for herself as well for her baby. But there was no reports of injury which would lead to hospitalization or emergency room.
I have a question about the DV violence, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, what do you think? Because sometimes, domestic violence can trigger early labor, a client going into labor. So, do you think that's maybe one of the reasons that the client went into labor, or what do you think?
Well, she was a week away from her labor, and it could be possible that it did shake her a little. It did shake her quite a bit for her to call the cops. So I guess.
So I'm curious. You mentioned that she was scared then, before he went into prison, and that you're scared for her now. You mentioned you did the security safety plan with her, but how does she feel about her own safety now?
The last visit that we had was 2 weeks before he was going to be discharged, and she did say that, yeah, I am worried. But that is the reason why we made a safety plan, because there was no safety plan, or nobody else knew about this thing. And that is what makes it more harder, because we're operating under we have to be I have to be very quiet about this thing, at the same time be proactive in protecting, in getting her to keep herself safe and her baby,
I was just curious to know, what was the last PHQ-9 score?
Interesting. The PHQ-9 score was 0, actually. So she doesn't I wouldn't be able to say outwardly, but I do know she doesn't say that something is bothering her or is concerning her in the PHQ-9 when I say, when we ask them all questions that are there. So her score ended up as being 0. I addressed it to her, but she said that I'm fine, I can go on, but we're just talking about it. So I don't know what to identify that as in there is no, it's not. But I did a safety assessment with her, and client was afraid, and there was imminent threat, because this has happened in the past, and she was feeling that he may do it again. When we're having a conversation or we're talking about stuff that goes on in her life, she doesn't express concern. But when I focus particularly on things that, let's say for example, the safety assessment rated really high, but on the other hand, the PHQ-9 was just normal. It was so her mental health is stable, I'd call it, because it rates to 0. She does everything that she's supposed to do. But that also concerns me, because I don't know, is it matching up with what's happening with her in her life? Because this is high stress, that's what I think. Mm-hmm. But I'd love to hear from you guys also,
What do you think is her motivation to maintain those ties right now?
I think the relationship, the support that he's providing her is is something that she hasn't received from those that are her immediate caregivers. So I do know that that is the primary reason why she goes back to him. And she has expressed it too, that he's nice to me. She does express guilt, as in when I ask him, so where's the baby today? Oh, the father took him, but I made sure that his friend was at home too, you know. So it's just like a way of validating that, listen, I know that I shouldn't be doing this, but I have taken an extra precaution. According to her, having a friend around or somebody else around is equivalent to keeping the baby safe, like not alone with the father. So those are the things that happen in our conversation. So I feel like she feels guilty for doing that. But again, like to what Abby said, I think he's really treating her nicely right now and being there for her. I do know that they were preparing for the child's birthday party, and it was going to be at his apartment. So
I do think it's great that she confided in you, but I'm a little concerned. I was wondering how you feel about it, that you're the only person, because, you know, she is in foster care and she's in a maternity shelter, and it would seem like the people who are taking care of her should be aware of what's going on.
I actually feel very responsible because she says that I'm the only one that she confided in. So I just feel like I really feel overly responsible in getting her the resources to keep herself safe, or to motivate her a little more to consider the fact that this may not work the way she's thinking it will work with the relationship. But I have also sometimes I've I think twice we have spoken about how she can actually identify one other person that she can confide into. I have asked her to actually stick to keep it to a professional, like as in somebody who can actually help her rather than just friends. I mean, it's okay if she wants to talk to friends, but I'd rather that she talk to a professional who can assist her, you know, more, like, you know, maybe there are many resources out there that I don't know about and they could really work for her. But every time I have gone back and followed up, she always said that I can't bring myself to talk about it.
I'm curious, has she told you why she's resistant to telling, you know, the caseworker at the maternity shelter what's going on?
Whenever my question has been that what is it that is like, you know, it is inhibiting you from actually kind of to seeking help, it's the place that you're supposed to like talk, for example, talking to a mental health clinician or something like that. She said that, look, I really don't need it. I don't need it, but I'm talking to you because I like talking to you. So that kind of always has changed the subject to something else. So it's more like a dismissive approach. She is held with high esteem at the place where she is, you know, and I just put myself in her shoes for that moment, and I said, you know, would I really want to discuss my dirty laundry, keep it out there, and they have a change of, you know, view of how they look at me or do whatever they do that may be preventing her from seeking the resources that are available out there.
You are the nurse, non-judgmental, so it could be that if she goes and open up to someone else, they might just say, oh, why can't you leave him? Why are you doing this? Why are you staying with him? So she might feel trusted in you because you don't judge her, you just sit here and listen. So maybe that's why she's looking for more someone to support and listen instead of criticizing her to say, oh, why are you with him? Why can't you see better for yourself?
Right. I mean, I wish I could do that at times. I'd be like, hey. But
No, it works. It does.
Yeah.
And actually let her, I guess, decide for herself when it's time to leave. Because
Right.
it takes time. It's at her time.
See, that's the part that's the hardest, because I gotta just let her do it in her time, and I'm just looking for things that I could help her in the meantime, you know.
Well, you know, for me, I really think that's a high tribute to you that she does apparently trust you implicitly. I mean, you've already told us that you're the only person she's confided this to, and she hasn't resisted your helping her to make what's a very important plan I think that really speaks to how you've developed this therapeutic relationship with her. That's just, exactly what we all strive to do, and it sounds like you've really done it in this case.
Yeah. Every time I review the safety plan with her, it just stays to that. She will say, okay, we will do it. I know exactly what to do. She's going to go through the plan with me. But then that ends over there. There is still the component of the child being with the father, alone, or she being with the child and the father at times. And that is like kind of like, okay, now how do I push this forward? How do I make this, maybe I'm doing something that maybe I need to do something different, and that is the reason why I just brought it here.
As we're talking, I think what you're saying is, what are the positives here that I can build on to change what's going on?
That's right. Trying to identify any corner that I have not, or any avenue that I could go down that I could, I could assist her in identifying the potential hazard over here, But I have so far been unsuccessful.
Given what you just said, I was wondering what you were thinking about, using some of our resources. Had you considered it?
Well, I did use the facilitators, but resources meaning probably individual professional resources or paper resources.
Well, either. I mean,
Yeah.
had you made any plan, with maybe talking to the mental health clinician or?
Yes, we did. We actually had this visit with her, this 2-week span that I had before the boyfriend was being discharged. We spoke with her. When I spoke with her the first week, it weighed on me because she had confided in me something that was very, very important to her and mattered. So I spoke with the mental health. Actually, I spoke with the client first, and then she said, "Oh, she would be willing to try the services." Try is the word she used. So I took this opportunity and I connected her to Keith. We didn't go through a formal evaluation because she wanted to try it. So we had a sit down with Keith, with the mental health clinician, the client, and myself, just as an introductory thing. I do know that she promised to follow up with the mental health clinician, and I do not think that they had any other visit after.
What about having her taken off for herself the reason why she's staying in a relationship with the father of the baby, instead of maybe assuming for herself, have her list the reason for herself, and then think about the pros and cons. Okay, if I stay with him, this is what's gonna happen, and then if I don't, then this is how it's gonna benefit me. Maybe if you have a list, the pros and the cons of staying in a relationship with the father of the baby, that will make her more aware of her situation.
I think, you know what, Dorothy, I think that may really work, because we did reflect on the reasons why she's with him and what she could do. I mean, we did talk about this thing, but I just think that this is an excellent idea to put it on paper, because when one sees pros and cons, that would probably, hit home. And I'm willing. I think I would really want to try that. Possibly that could work.
And I was thinking about, you mentioned that he is the only support for her. But sometimes when we in need, we might think, okay, this is the only person we have. And we have a facilitator, it's called Who Supports Me, and he has a list of people. So maybe she might think back, oh, I have this aunt or this cousin, and then that will help her as well.
I'm just wondering one other thing. Of course, we want her to feel totally comfortable, but I think, remember when we were doing that thing on motivational interviewing and you said be really curious? Maybe each time you go, you can, sort of get in that headset to be really curious. How would you feel about asking her questions, like a check-in on her safety? So, how's it going? And being really specific about domestic violence.
I think that could work. I think I'm willing to try that because that is something that probably I assume that I have done, but it could be that I haven't pushed hard enough. Knowing that the history that I know that she doesn't want to talk to anybody about it, probably because of that, it kind of like, okay, let me give her space. But maybe investigating more into the relationship and being curious about the reason why she wants to continue this may give me a little more information and kind of help her better. So I think that could work too.
Maybe you can ask her what is her definition of violence. Because some people, it could be that, oh, he's my boyfriend, I make him upset, that's why he pushed me. So maybe to her, it's not as serious as you think it is. It could be her own definition of violence. She's like, okay, he's upset, then that's why he hit me, then we can start over again, it's my fault. I'm the reason why.
You mean validating what is okay, what is not,
Yes.
and kind of that may work. Like we've done it in the past, but then again, now this is a new because it's a relationship rebuilding itself. So possibly there is reason for me to go through it once again with her.
Or maybe the next time you speak to her, you can ask her if she feels comfortable to continue talking about the situation, because sometimes when people go through things, and then you have someone who always kind of reminding you of what happened, and then you just don't want to talk about it. You just want to take a break. So maybe you can ask her, do you feel comfortable for me to continue asking about the same thing, or you want to a different subject, and have her talk about it when she's ready again.
Right.
Because she might feel like you're being pushy and like this is what you want for yourself, but this is for her. Like you're doing this for her, not for yourself. So ask her,
Yeah, that's an important point to be considered as, being in mind. Yep.
I'm also curious putting together the idea of the pros and cons list with her avoiding talking about this with other people. And at one point you mentioned she'd be afraid to tell the people at the home because they might think less of her. So I would guess she'd put this history of domestic violence in a con list. And I'm wondering if you might be able to sort of reframe that so she sees it as this strength of hers, that look where she's come, she was able to deal with this, she's been so successful, and that would help her bridge more relationships and have more support that it seems like she's looking to him for right now, rather than cutting off those ties.
I think that is really refreshing. I think it's going to be a different approach for her to just reflect on what her accomplishments, and that she's capable of doing more, like having another relationship. I guess that could work too.
It sounds like a really great to flip a negative to a positive, especially with this really touchy subject.
This was very helpful also in terms of one of my current cases in particular, where I didn't know there was any domestic violence until I actually did the 1 year questionnaire we have.
Oh,
And then after 1 whole year, through answering that questionnaire honestly, she told me that there was violence initiated during the child's first year of life.
wow.
And, maybe that will be a case conference in itself, but it sounds like you've given her really valuable tools. Really valuable tools. The plan, the fact that she has learned to confide in you, and you do still have you have a healthy period of time left. I mean, the baby's only 1, that's a whole year.
So I just want to kind of summarize as to what I can carry away from here for the client. So a pros and cons list, and then converting into a positive, a strength list, as in like what she is capable of achieving, and probably moving the conversation to how she could be able to achieve some more relationships, and doesn't have to entirely depend on this relationship that could probably get her out of this, situation. And also being curious, investigating, asking questions at all times, as well as respecting boundaries, kind of stopping when, assessing the need to stop when need to, and, continuing when client is ready. So I think I really benefited from all your suggestions, and I really want to thank you all. Because just before this, I was like I don't know what to do, and now at least I have a plan. I have a plan that I can go back and act upon. So thank you.
And thinking about you planting the seed, like Nancy said, you planting the seed. You never know. One time you might see her, and she's like, "Oh yes, Pamela, you are right." It was just taking me time to realize that I had to make a change, but
That's
planting
right.
the seeds.
It's a good takeaway from here, because I was, when I came to this case conference, I was really apprehensive about everything that was going on. I had mixed feelings about it myself, and I was thinking like, I don't know what else I could do right.
I think the issue of domestic violence, even though we deal with it all the time, is really a hard issue. So I'm really glad that you brought it up, and it makes me realize that as a supervisor, I've really got to work on this issue more. And I mean, what I mean by working on it is maybe, having another, focus on domestic violence, because we have focused on it in the past, but we've kind of moved away from it. And I'm wondering if we moved away from it also because it's such a difficult topic.
It's not common either, so it's just that when cases like this arise, then makes you kind of like want to you find the need and then refocus on it. So it would be helpful though to
I really
focus
want
on
to
it
thank
again.
you for bringing up this case. I thought it was a really good case to discuss. And I want you to realize that you can always come back, because we're your support system.
That's right. Right.
I just really want to thank everybody. But, I think this was such a good illustration that just by building a relationship and building this trust, we sometimes can really help people in a very deep way, because you're really learning more and more about this client as your relationship goes on and as she trusts you more. So this was a really terrific case to discuss. And I think that, hopefully you'll come back and tell us more about how things are working out. But
Yes.
thank you so much for discussing this case, Famita.
It's okay.
Thank you. Great job.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.